I'm first going to look at you in the impact position because it's the most important. Everything the ball does, how far it goes, how high it goes, how much it spins and curves, is a direct response to the laws of physics and motion at the brief moment of impact. On the left is Tiger hitting an iron. This is video I took at last year's US Open. On the right is Grant Wade hitting the driver. Grant was a PGA Tour player during the 90s and now is one of the top instructors of tour players. Grant's teaching partner is a good friend of mine, Joe Mayo, who lives in Las Vegas. Grant was considered by many as having one of the best and most fundamentally sound golf swings. At impact, they both have the majority of their weight on the left side. In fact, the average pro will have 85 to 90% of their weight on the left side at impact. I've drawn a red block from the center of their ankles to the top of their head, and you can see that the red line off their left foot is passing right through their belt buckle, showing how the center of their mass is right on top of their left foot. They both have extended arms through impact. Their elbows are close together and not separating. Having extended arms and weight forward allows them to control the low point of their arc of their swing. When hitting the iron, this fundamental allows the placement of the low point to be in front of the ball, so that they hit the ball first and then the ground, producing the maximum compression of the golf ball. These fundamentals also allows for the highest level of consistency in controlling the face angle and club path during impact, so that you in turn have the highest level of consistency in hitting whatever optimal ball flight you want.
Randell, I'm going to look at your driver swing from the round that you played on the course. Have you paused just past impact? The purpose of swing analysis is not to change the look of the swing just to make it fit some ideal swing model. The sole purpose is to change the negative ball flight that is impacting your score. Once a ball flight error begins to occur too frequently, you then must identify the part of the player's swing causing the club to be delivered to the ball in the wrong position. Swing fundamentals are not abstract ideas, but they are key positions that have a certain look. If the look isn't there, then the fundamental isn't there. Now, no player can work on too many things at once, so it's important to work on a player's missing fundamentals, a few at a time, and in the proper sequence. First, let's look at your weight distribution during impact. I've drawn a box from the ankles to the top of the head. You can see that Grant has a huge majority of his weight on his left side. You also have the majority of your weight on your left. Not as much as Grant, but still sufficient amount to hit good shots with the driver. Now, with an iron, you would need a little more weight on your left to consistently put the low point of your swing in front of the ball. But with the driver, this is not at the top of my list of concerns. I want to focus on the arms. Grant has extended his arms through impact, and you are beginning to separate your elbows. I'm going to frame advance the swing to the 9th position. This is when the right arm is parallel to the ground post-impact. In this position, Grant's right arm is fully extended, his left arm is extended, his elbows are close to each other, his wrists are crossed. Also, his left hand, his gloved hand, is underneath his right hand, and the shaft of the club is starting to rehinge upward. And so there's an angle from his right forearm and the shaft. You have a bent right arm here and a bent left arm, and your glove, white glove, is above the right hand. So you haven't kept your left arm in front of your chest and the left arm extended so that your wrist would crisscross, and the shaft is almost in a reverse angle with your forearm. So instead of having your clubs beginning to rehinge upward here through your hands and wrist, it's still very straight. So the ball has already left the club face when you reach this position, but it does provide clues as to what you were doing during impact. And I think this is a critical position to focus on because it does answer a lot of questions of why you have some inconsistency and that you many times will hit the ball with an open club face. Now the swing on the right is the correct position. You now have positioned yourself in the 9th position with your arms straight, wrists are crisscrossed, the white glove is under your right hand. You have rehinged the shaft upward just like Grant did, just like Tiger does, just like every PGA player does. You will see this position in the 9th position in almost every single PGA player. Here's Tiger and Rory McIlroy in the ninth position, arms extended, elbows close together, wrists crossed, left hand under the right hand, rehinging the shaft above the right arm. Here's Hunter Mahan on the left, Justin Rose on the right, both arms extended, elbows close together, wrists are crossed, left hand underneath the right hand. So you'll see this in all of the pros. You are capable of making the correct swing. The difference in between those two swings is that the one on the left you were hitting a golf ball, and the one on the right was your practice swing. So what we need to learn to do is to identify that feeling when you're doing a practice swing and try to incorporate those movements that you already know into a ball swing. Now, one of the main reasons you have a different kind of ball swing than you do practice swing is because of the way you grip the club with your right hand, and that the way you currently grip it does not allow you to swing with your practice swing, because you would smother hook the ball every time if you did. I'm going to cover your grip of the right hand in a minute, but first I want to look at one other area of this ninth position to focus on. And the other thing that you do really well is you move to your left side much better with your practice swing. You had several driver swings on the course, and in fact you even commented that you sometimes feel like you're falling backwards, and that's the movement on the left. But your movement on the right is exactly what you're going to see the pros do. They're putting the center of their mass, that red line on your swing on the right, on your practice swing, is going right through the center of your belt buckle. So you're putting the center of your hips right on top of that left foot. You can see how that left foot is angled forward here. It's going this way. So you're really getting on top of that foot. Here you can almost sense that you're falling backwards. So there are some drills that you can do where you actually can execute this drill while hitting a ball, and that you will then sense this action of letting the wrist cross and rehinging. It's kind of a rehinge drill. And that's the thing that I think will help you develop the kind of effortless power that will serve you well and get you more consistently and more control with effortless power. I'm going to take a closer look at your grip. First, the left hand is reasonably okay. It's a little stronger than what I might see on tour, but there are certainly players with a strong left hand position. But what you won't see on tour is how you have the right hand on the club. I'm going to have you look at several of the pros' grip of the right hand and see the difference. First, I want to draw an arrow from this knuckle down the back of that finger, and it's pointing this way. This would be that same back of the finger that Tiger has, and you can see how it's pointing in a completely different direction. That finger kind of indicates the plane of the palm of the hand. And so Tiger's palm, his right palm, if you were to simply open up his hand, it would be consistently in line with that red line that I've drawn on the back of that finger, that forefinger. If you were to open your hand up and keep it in line with that red line on your forefinger, then the palm of your hand would basically be sticking straight up in the air. Now, the other thing that's important to identify is you'll see that his lifeline is sitting on top of his left thumb. The other thing is how he has the club more in the fingers, and the skin at this knuckle up to the fleshy part, up to the end of the webbing of the crease. The skin is touching, and so there's no separation in between his thumb and his forefinger, except in this area right here, right at where the nail is. And yours is much deeper in there. You have the handle stuck in the base of the crease, not at the end of the crease. Here's Tom Watson. Again, this is the back of that forefinger. If you were to unhinge that finger and just let it stick out into a palm position, he would be close to being in the same plane as the face of the club. You cannot see his left thumb. He's covered it up with a lifeline sitting more on top of the left thumb. This crease that he has created by putting his right thumb up against his hand is closed all through here. It's only the tip of the thumb that is away from is not touching any part of the hand. And so again, he's in a position very similar to what Tiger had. Here's Jasper Parnevik, again very similar as we saw Tom Watson and Tiger Woods. Here's Anthony Kim, again pretty much the same position, just kind of pinching the club lifeline of the right hand sitting on top of the thumb. You can't see the left thumb. They are basically setting their right hand in a palm position, and you have your right hand set more like a fist instead of a palm. This is an artist's sketch of Ben Hogan's grip. It's almost like a work of art to me. And again, he's got that forefinger and the crease here, pinching it with the thumb and the forefinger lifeline of the right hand sitting on top of the thumb. So very consistently, the pros will have the right hand basically in the same plane as the face of the club. So when they swing their right hand at the golf ball, it's as if they were hitting the ball with the palm of the hand. Because your right hand is turned under so far where the palm is basically facing up to the sky when it gets down to the golf ball, the right hand cannot release correctly and deliver the club square. The only way that the club can hit the ball squarely is for you to swing your hand sideways at the ball, not palm at the ball. If you were to actually release your club the way your practice swing releases it correctly, you would hit some other hooks. And so you are doing the wrong thing with your swing for a logical reason. It would be your subconscious mind does not want to hit some other hooks, and therefore it doesn't allow you to have a natural and correct release, the one that you use every single time you do a practice swing. So you'll never be able to get your ball swing to look like your practice swing until you change the grip of your right hand.